Welcome, welcome to our lovely future humans and those who are new. Being you is what our future humans are all about, and that is why we live our highest level of spirituality. And we ascend, we expand with ascension energies, like yesterday's and the day before, and the ones that are consistently here. So, spirituality is when you're living a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. You knowingly are going to help others, and you will also knowingly know how to ask for help. And you don't have these expectations. Doesn't mean you don't get disappointed. I think I told you I had one big expectation, and I didn't word it that way, but in one of our late HP shows. But of course, as we're getting to know each other, we might have the expectation of meeting smart and strong people. However, smart and strong people know how to ask for help, and then they know that they will need help, and then they will know that if they fall down and can't get up, they will be helped to come up. But they also know how to use prefrontal cortex. Okay, so when I see someone saying be yourself, that's the worst advice you could ever give any woman or man. Those are the people who don't know the real self story. I do, because I'm attachment trauma educated. They also don't know the embodied brain. So the real life and real self story can only happen if you own your sense of self. Now, the ones who don't want to believe in science, you can go somewhere else, because I'm woo-woo pseudoscience. I'm a 5D mystic, Christ consciousness. So I was already told from Jesus that the kingdom of God is within every one of you. God told me to mind my own business, and you will get to have your free will. And Robert Sapolsky, he gives me great food for thought, because determined is what I see when I see people, and you're going to hear a funny story. Look at me as I'm explaining to them attachment trauma education. I'm letting them know what it takes to be your sense of self and all your child parts, because I had a fun experience, and then we were talking about other people who are not having such a fun experience and who are pretty much what is called an adaptive child part person, using the dark sides of neuroplasticity and shutting themselves in a shame cycle. The human being, and actually there's two of them, they're both equally unimpressive. And they're both equally in the need, if they wanted to go to someone like Terry Real. Okay, so it's none of our business, any one of us, to go telling someone else what to do with their body. And while the ones who think they're entitled with their self-righteous batons carry on with their carrying on of transgenerational trauma, we don't. I know I don't. So discernment, equanimity, and loving, that's the tone. That's what God is to me. Akash source, cosmic karmic balancing always takes place. The people who play divinity, the ones who think humanity needs them. So you don't need me. Humanity doesn't need me to save them. That's called savior complex. When it comes to true spirituality, you don't have savior complex. If you think you are needed, then you're not true spirituality yet, because you're not living a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. You have expectations of what you're going to get when you're helping someone get off the floor. Or you think that you're helping someone and you're doing them a favor. This is called people who are codependent. People who are codependent need each other. People who are independent know we will want each other. We will help each other. That's why being yourself is everything. The real self of you, like in this passage of John, that light shines in the darkness, yet the darkness did not overcome it. Yes, so when we have light and darkness, yesterday was the equal, and you have both, because darkness is the unknown, and that is our maximum uncertainty, which is in the state of awareness, which is why we are opening up more and more and expanding our 8th chakra for the 5D collective. So every fear is defeated by Resh. That's your prefrontal cortex. If you're not looking at the emotions, the implicit memory that comes up, whenever it comes up, it's because you're not able to. Well, I'm sure that if you're going to stick around, you will be able to, because we talked about why the level of spirituality, the highest level, involves emotional intelligence development, which are the same people who do spiritual and personal growth. We also have mental intelligence development, and that's why we are ourselves. We be ourselves, not for pretend. The ones who needed to change, they had lost themselves. I didn't lose myself. Okay, so smart means I will ask for help. Strong means that I will also get up, and if someone pushes me back down, I can be strong enough to get myself up by myself, and I won't have the expectation of thinking, oh my God, now I cannot trust any other human being on the face of this planet because one person did it. And I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm thinking of all the drama kings and queens out there and all the fakos. So I don't like two-faced bastards, and that's what every single person who's unhealthy in all ways, shapes, and forms and thinking they're entitled to tell other people what they should and shouldn't and could, no, what they should and shouldn't do. They think they know the right way. They think they know the wrong way. And this is not just a thinking, it's a person who's an insecure human being. That's all of those who have an in-group and an out-group. So those who navigate likes and dislikes are not living the highest level of spirituality. They're not even in spirituality. They're an ego. And while people will want to say spiritual ego, no, they're a spiritual bypasser and they're an ego, and they can go and get their child part tended to, get out of the self-righteous baton, become a grown-up, stop walking around with pitchforks once they're ready to actually be a person that is the highest level of spirituality. Zen master, you can get out of laundry, just use your prefrontal cortex. Okay, so when people suffer life, that's because they're expecting someone's going to help them to get up, and they're expecting it in a way of being helpless though. So they don't have a real self yet because they don't own their 0-1-year-old. I do. And I own my 3 to 7-year-old. So when they come up, my child parts, I know how to hug myself because it's called, I'm activating the ventral vagal state. And then I'll know that I want to be journaling, exploring, having a fun time with it, because you have a fun time. So like panic attacks are the most annoying, but still you're going to have a fun time. Okay, so let me read you a couple things and then give some stories. This is hilarious. I mean, I was dying my ass off to tell it to you all because it happened last night. Okay, so I explained all that other stuff. If you're curious more on the highest level of spirituality topic, go to our episode from yesterday on where you see emotional intelligence development, or maybe I'll link it at the end. And we also had a late HP show on how ascension, equinox, being yourself, the strong and smart way, open-hearted. Okay, so I love that this came out for us because we are balancing that, which is the capacity to use our prefrontal cortex and our human secondary consciousness. Also connected to this lovely resh, the resurrection involves our superior conscience. It is the chance to awake from our ancient sleep and rediscover our potential. So the reality is I'm going to work with these words because you're not asleep. You're not rediscovering your potential. I mean, you're uncovering, and that's only, again, when all your humanness, all your child parts are yours and there's no shame left. So you know that we're always going to initially expect that people will help us up because that's what's social. But sometimes we won't be picked up. And when that happens, the functional child adult knows that that means I have an unkind human being who is emotionally, mentally, physically immature, insecure. They are a sick mind, which means they're an adaptive child part who wants right and wrong and who only knows black and white, and in a way of being very rigid. So they're so rigid that they don't want to pick up an old lady from the floor, and these are different stories that I interact with when I'm telling you this stuff, because I swear these people, I don't even know what they're doing. Why are they not still with Pat Ogden or somebody? So light and darkness, they are complementary and unavoidable elements. We don't need to be dramatic about it. Okay, so when you're using your ventral energy, you're not thinking, oh my God, something so special and amazing just happened. I did something so strong. Being strong and smart means I will ask for help. I will know I will need it, and I will expect help by someone. And that someone, then I will have to ask myself, because I'm in the year 2025 and I'm a 4'9" woman, did they pick me up because they're genuinely going to be a person, or are there second motives? And if there are second motives, am I going to be in trouble? And I don't even bother with that personally because, for me, with God, it's pretty straightforward. I don't question my sense of safety. I know that I'm under the sky. The roof could fall on me right now. So, really, when someone says safe, I'm like, where? It's not that I'm afraid. I'm just like, why are you lying? Like, right up, there you go. I could die. It's not that that's unsafe. It's that I don't really want to physically die. I'm having a good time being alive. That's why I plan on living a long time. God said that I will live a long time. So this is the part where grounded in reality, people, we love life. And we know addiction is a disease of more, and that most addictive behaviors, they are maladaptive responses to unresolved trauma. And that they are feel good, but with consequences. So like Gabor Mate points out, it's not why the addiction, why the pain. And like a smart lady who works with people who have had addictions, she says it's not the substance. It's your relationship with the substance. So if the person has a good relationship with themselves, if they're a person who has discipline, if it's a person who knows their inner world, that's why I don't believe in it being black or white. People will be able to decide for themselves. Like, so I'm going to use me. When I decided, okay, it's time to reduce the number of cigarettes, I chose 3 because I could feel that was the perfect sweet spot. I enjoy the tobacco, and then my ability to perceive that it's not oppressive to the lungs. Also, I don't, by the way, give a shit about all the brainwashing they did with the cigarettes. They did it with marijuana. Now they're undoing it with marijuana. I'm waiting for them to actually make it disgusting for people to drink to the bejesus of them. I'm waiting for that. And I'm not going to do conspiracies. I'm just waiting to see when are they going to get to that. Then again, is it really necessary? No, it's not. It actually isn't. If everybody got attachment science informed and then said, oh, look, I need to go undo my unhealthy self-soothing mechanisms. But we have an avoidant who goes on screen letting us know why she stays avoidant. It's because all people are fucked up. And the story I'm about to tell you, it completely didn't blow my mind away. I was like, there it is. So the modern day therapists, the good ones, they all have informed me. You do everything you can. It's great. Spiritual personal growth, great. Don't worry. If you ever need us, you'll know. Meantime, doing awesome. And people who don't want us, they will find a million ways to not come to us and then to continue their maladaptive patterns of behavior and actually make it look like they're strong and smart and cool. They will actually look in your face. I'm a 45-year-old woman. This man, he's older than me, and he thinks he's cool. He's not the only one. Next to him was another person who thinks he's cool. And they're not cool, like the college students who fucked and were miserable. And I was like, don't do it, STDs. And you just told me you're miserable. Don't do it. You don't have to. It was consensual for both of you, right? You don't have to do it. No, really, you don't. And I was not attachment trauma educated. So a fool with a tool is still a tool. When people use their mouth to use words, I'm like, oh, yes, I can see clearly now. The rain has gone. So, as Bessel van der Kolk points out, trauma is not a story of something that happened in the past. In fact, Patrick Tian will say it lives through you. Trauma is the imprint that all experiences leave on your soul and your body as your sensations. So I don't know these sensations of people who are helpless. I know the sensations of I'm not helpless, and if you don't want to pick me up off the floor, I'll be able to get off the floor. And if you push me down, I'll let you push me down only twice. The second time, by the third, as I see you come towards me, I'll probably be able to put something, and then I'll be like, what is going on here? I don't understand what you're doing. So good intentions, they are not enough. It takes the right action performed with the right consciousness to produce the necessary results. Thank you, Sadhguru. And as lovely Dan Martell points out, the person you will be in 5 years depends on what you're reading today, who you're talking to, what are you eating, what activities are you doing, okay? So every single choice is what is going to lead you to who you are going to be. And that's why when someone is not doing any of that, but they think that they don't need help, you're like, wow, okay. So always do the best you can for whoever's around you, because tomorrow either they may be gone or you may be gone. Thank you, Sadhguru. That is definitely true. And as Ron Siegel points out, it's only when we are able to feel all these different feelings, allow thoughts to come and go freely, that we can actually relax, which I know all about. That's why the personal growth and spiritual growth activities are really fun to do. So, last quote from our lovely Dan Martell: the most dangerous person in your life is the one who makes you feel comfortable with mediocrity. And as Patrick Tiahan points out, therapy is hard work for those of us who have never been parented. Okay, so when people have not been parented in a way that allows them to know health, it's really sad, okay? But then when you get what I'm about to tell you, you're like, okay, wow, now I need to just shut up about that part, but engaging in risky behaviors to feel alive. There's a bunch of people who engage in risky behaviors to feel alive. Implicit memory, sensory memory. Okay, and then when you are not able to have an open-ended inquiry with your sensations, meaning allowing yourself to feel, and that's why the emotional body, it's something you get back online when you're taking care of yourself. and then your child parts become a part of you, and now you're not going to use the unhealthy self-soothing mechanisms because you don't want to, but that's because you've chosen that you want to be that real self. Okay, and so this is a personal choice. You can't make someone choose it for themselves, and that's actually not something that is from the God perspective. He gives you free will. Akash source gives you oversoul opportunity. From science perspective, as Janina Fisher points out, nobody self-sabotages. They will simply put not want to do it, and that will be because shame comes up and they feel defective and unworthy. But it's not through words, it's here. And get ready to rumble and roll with this hilarious, not so hilarious story. So a fool is a fool, even if they still have a tool. I can be a fool too, because I won't always know everything, but I'll accept it and welcome it. As for common sense health, physical, mental, emotional, there's plenty of information around, and plenty of just people who are speaking and not noticing that their body is not healthy, nor is their mind, nor is their heart. And it's not that their heart isn't there, it's that it was broken, and therefore they're still protecting it instead of healing it. And they're protecting it means that they're keeping themselves at a distance from all that would help them to become vulnerable with themselves, because that's how scary it is. It's unfortunate because when people don't connect, they actually create distance. So it's just sad for them. For us, it's not something. I'm totally my facade friend. I don't have any kind of expectations for people at all. And actually, it was completely honed in at a certain point, and I'm like, okay, thank you for that confirmation. I actually knew that I was being gifted something that I would understand the complete wisdom of it, and I do. It's only you can love you. I can't love you. And you'll show me just how much you love anything when I can tell how you're treating yourself. Half-heartedly loving anyone, especially yourself or days, tells me that, there's that Hippocrates sentence. People say they want to heal until discipline. And then I think of Mary Poppins, spoonful of sugar. And then I think of Pinocchio, who hit rock bottom. He didn't need to. Fairy godmother came in. And then I think about God. And I think about all the angels out there who come into each other's life. And I think of, we all get choice points. But some people have the short end of the stick. So they have cracks. Some people, we don't have cracks, and we're not going to compare. But you know what the ones without the cracks are going to do? When you push us down, we're going to still come and help you back up, like my facade friend. And when you push again, we're going to still help you to come back up. And we won't think you're devil, demon, Lucifer. No, we're going to know you're defending yourself. And attachment trauma education makes us know completely when you twist it why we won't be like, let me point out, I'm not your parent. I ain't lecturing you. You're not my child, and we're peers. And at the end of the day, even when I see adolescents, I'm not their parent. Therefore, I will not be intervening. I also do not welcome any of that which is people who are mediocre. And I don't want to waste time, since there's a bountiful of them who have not yet noticed that they still don't know how to turn their cheek and to forgive. So as long as I can see that they're not helping people get up, of the opposing political religious team, of the opposing law, to whatever it is, and that they're able to do it with a smile because like, oh look, I met someone different than me. Hey, you're so interesting. Hey, let's talk. So that will be the day. It's a small world after all. So enlightenment is not about light. It is about a vision beyond light and darkness. And inspiring human potential is about that. I know that we can make the world a better place for you and for me and the entire human race, and that there are children dying. If we care enough about the living, and some of us do, we know we don't need to be doing it with that emotion of anger that so many love. Now, while I will say I was surprised with this whole anger thing in my 3-year-old, but I'm not surprised too much because I'm a 3-year-old, but also because I'm 4'9". My body will be smarter than the left brain. Those who think their ego knows best, no, it doesn't. And I already know that because my body knows what chance I have in the presence of another human being and in the presence of an animal. None. And if it decides freeze and shut the fuck up in this moment, I'm not going to yell at it for doing what is the appropriate response. I'm okay because that's exactly where the ego isn't actually, oh my God, you're a piece of shit. It's, oh, great job. Shh, what else do we do, body? What else do we do? What are we going to do? I love it. When your child parts come up to play, it's just so fun. That's what I can't wait for our master classes and workshops. It's going to be a lot of fun because to dedicate some more time to that little child would have been really, really fun for me. And the entire group was really supportive as well. So to be able to shower affection on everyone without needing affection or attention yourself, that is freedom. And that's what my 0-1-year-old and anyone who owns their child parts. So that's why we're going to be like, okay, we're going to hug you. Let's hug it out. So we collaborate, we clear that clutter, and it's not clutter in a bad way. It's fun, just like this little frog. And like, okay. Okay, so now that we reviewed a little bit of this and a little bit of that, let me tell you about I talked all about attachment trauma education to give you the gist of this moment in time yesterday. And I'm talking about addictions, and I'm talking about child parts, and I'm talking about, also the events that I did that day and stuff like that. And the person, this man with another man, and there's other people too, but these two in particular, as they're still talking about the situation, the guy turns to me. He's got a humongous belly. It's not the belly, even though that definitely is going to give you a heart attack at some point. There's nothing, I have nothing to say with people, you know what, when they're trying to allow themselves to justify that which is weight. The weight is your body needs you. So I believe in health, and health, actually, there's a surgeon, a heart surgeon. He's explaining a lot of things. This is a really good episode, actually. So it's about common sense, and the way this guy, again, I need to just pause and tell you the story because I was not surprised because all my trauma educators, they inform me of all these types of people. But this human being, so before we get to what he speaks out of his mouth, I need you to understand the pre-story. This man, I've seen him. He frequents the same place. He's not a friend of mine. He is simply a person who frequents the pub. And in one of these instances, he and a woman that I believe he dates or just fucks around with, I'm not sure, but the point is that they both fall on the floor together, and not a small fall. They're lucky they're alive, but they also go back into the pub to get some ice and get tended to. They're beyond a bejesus drunk. Oh, and this man also told me why lack of sleep, meaning the ability for him to not sleep, proves he's strong. So he's telling me why he's strong. I don't need to sleep. Mindset is everything. It doesn't matter if I'm old. Look at me. I can do a tour de force. He's like, this was another conversation. So in this other instant, he falls down, she falls down, they go in, they fall down again. They keep falling like at least 3 times. And so these things have happened. Okay, now this man, the woman's not there, but he's there, and we're just talking about another human being who has apparently some stuff going on, problems, who is not getting any help. And so they're not being mean. They are, though, talking about this. And as we're talking and I explain attachment trauma, neuroplasticity, the bright sides, the dark sides, addictions, and all this, he's like, yeah, this is so fascinating. Everything you said, it sounds really great, and it's so generic, though. I was like, well, yeah, everybody has their own story, but I don't need any help, Maria. I know I'm really good, and something like that. Okay, but it was, I don't need help. I'm good. I'm great, and I look at him. I know how to respect people. It's like immediate, just because like. I've had buffoons tell me things when I was growing up as a teenager, and I chose what I would do in an effort to remember that I'm a buffoon, meaning I can be stupid too. So that was how I keep Maria humble. And people are like, you're lying. No, I'm not. I don't have an opinion on your life. It's your life, not mine. So if you want me to tell you my physical thoughts, but I don't think you really want my thoughts. If you did, you wouldn't be, and at the end of the day, the reality is people don't want your thoughts when it comes to something like this. And there's no point in even bothering. Like I said, I learned when I was a kid, and my facade friend honed it in. My facade friend, he's an asshole, like a real one. So I always thought that he would be able to handle any type of criticism. He didn't at all, which is why I'm like, okay, people are sensitive. They don't know how to admit to themselves things. I'm cool with having weaknesses. I'm cool with you telling what you think. Doesn't mean I'm going to think it's true or not true. I'm just going to hear you out, because why wouldn't I? So I personally don't miss having any type of interaction, because the mature ones, and those will be most likely those of you who will be back, we have a good time talking. We also know that we all can be buffoons. We don't take it personally. We also know that we can keep working on the lovely ventral vagal state. So equanimous energy is very amazing. It leads you to have discernment. So you're completely conscious and participant. So again, in this interaction, I didn't feel compelled to laugh in the face. No, I was like... Inside of me, immediately this moment where they both fell, him and this, and I'm thinking of when he's telling me about not sleeping. Yeah, you do need help, but you're convinced you don't. And really what it is to a T what the therapist will have said when somebody's rejecting that which is going to get themselves healed. Because as Patrick Jan points out, the therapy is hard for those who have not been parented. And so when somebody doesn't realize their addictions are unresolved trauma, it's because they don't want to, not because there's not the information out there. When you have people who tell other people, but you need to tell them, no, you don't understand how it works, do you? You don't need to tell anybody anything besides having conversations. If a person is smart and strong, they know when to ask for help, that they'll need help, and that if they are going to fall down, we will pick them up, which is like Dr. Daniel Fox presents to his entire community who are between borderline personality to narcissist personality disorders. He says, you're healing. You will fall back on your patterns, the family in the head, the inner critic, the outer critic, the drinking, drugging, fucking, whatever it is that makes you feel good because you got used to it. A person who is a functional child adult, he uses a different word. He says a healthy human being will not do characterological distinctions, which is that you do not shame, blame, fault, revenge. You do not ridicule. Now, while we're chit-chatting, I know there's plenty of people, Maria, she's a bitch. How dare you? Look, she makes it think. There's plenty who will come across something and think that I'm saying it's so easy or something like that. They'll get defensive about it. While I'm not saying it's easy, I'm presenting, we got a bunch of people like this dude, as he's hearing me, he's like, I don't need any help. And he wasn't kidding. He's like, I'm doing perfectly great. Like when he told me, I don't need to sleep. It's this age, Maria. What are you saying? It's mindset. And I'm like, no, your body needs sleep. Like, I know I'm a mystic, but I still sleep. Like my nervous system wants sleep, and so, it's just not funny at all. Yeah. But if that person fell down, would I leave them on the floor? No, I won't. Does that mean I'm going to tell them in their face, you're a piece of shit? No, I won't, because again, these are all those areas where people say speak up, but the minute they're saying that, they're actually not only behaving like all of those other martyrs, blamers, superiors, people who think they can know what's best, but they're also forgetting that there's an entire equipe of professionals. I learned from them again. So I'm a mentor, content creator, podcast host. I'm a consultant. I'm a marketer. I'm a coach. I'm all of these. I'm educated on purpose to offer spiritual personal growth. People who don't understand the difference is not everyone needs a therapist. When you can contain sensations, the images, the behaviors, affects, meanings, and you're aware, now it's time for you to grow more. It's kind of like a Peter Pan who grows up to be a good Peter Pan, meaning to have a good time with your adolescent essence, but not be a Pinocchio who's still falling with his head rock bottom, and thinking, oh, look, I'm amazing, with all his broken teeth. This dude, he is a walking, talking, when's your heart going to stop? Because that's exactly what it looks like to me as his size continues to do what it does. And he continues to think, last night, I think, what did he say, 7, 8 beers? So this is not like a one-time thing, okay? So it's mathematics, and this is sad to say. Again, I don't think Neil deGrasse is not education. These people don't believe in attachment science or in trauma or in any of the modern-day therapists. And this guy, the last part of this story with this other person, they were complete teenagers by the end of this interaction as, I don't need anything, And you know what? It sounds like the system's trying to oppress me. Yeah. And the other guy was chiming, yeah, the system, see, they're just trying to put all these rules down, have us not do anything fun. And I was like, oh my God, no way. This is hilarious. Like the ones who make fun of me for not doing drugs. You'd think that they would know, great job. You're going to grow old and be able to lift people off the floor. Maybe you'll be able to be stronger, even though you're a 4'9" woman. Yeah, you know what? I'm pretty sure I'll be able to breathe. And I'll be able, and it's not just because I do the breathing techniques, it's because my nervous system is a body that's connected. So please do remember, the words that come out of Maria's mouth, they don't matter. What matters, first of all, is that your body, it's one of two ways. And if you don't yet have the capacity to anchor in ventral energy, that is your cue that you want to do EMDR, child parts work, somatics, sensory motor. Once you contain everything, which is why my child parts, when they come up, I know it's so valuable and important, which is what makes me so happy about these activities. And then I think, okay, I'm going to do more of that, though with a longer time span, because of being able to organize it for myself, but also for our collective. Since when something comes up, even if it's just a feeling that you want to sit with, that's the part of why you would want an hour and a half to just sit with it. But also you want to have a safe haven, secure base. So intimacy is important, and that's why the therapists are important for those who are looking to gain familiarity with it, and then you know how to identify when you're being triggered. So like Dr. Daniel Fox presents, once you're on a roll, your desire is what's going to get you to completely heal and completely continue, and then having the right people around, and that's the ones who are healthy and not the mediocre ones. The mediocre ones, like this person who was basically the most dangerous person in your life, is the one who makes you feel comfortable with mediocrity. Dan Martell, the person who chimed in saying the system is trying to hold you down, was giving fuel to this other human being. These are grown-ups. They were giving fuel to each other, and I said, it's not about the system. I explained to you some technical verbiage of attachment science, of neuroscience, neurobiology. You don't need to like it. I'm explaining to you what addiction is, what child parts are. I'm explaining. You don't need to, again, do anything with it. The system's not trying to make rules. In fact, we don't have rules against you drinking 12 things of alcohol yet. There's only rules about you not being able to drive drunk, and there's people who, with their car keys, as they're looking at me, you live with your mother? I'm an adult. See, I have a car. Sure you are. As I see how you treat your body. Yeah, you're an adult. You're not an adult to me. You're a person who, in fact, needs to notice that adults take care of the children. You can't take care of children if you're completely not knowing how to handle what is called moderation. Moderation is the beautiful sweet spot of any who have balance with the light and the dark. And that's, again, the emotions, maximum uncertainty, not light and darkness and good and bad, stuff like that. No. And if I use good and bad, I use it to be effective, ineffective. Someone thinking they're strong and smart when they can stay up all night, drink all that much, you're not smart or strong. You're just allowing yourself to feel, I don't even know. It actually, you know what? I do know. Sadhguru, where's your joke? He has a joke of a man going home to a wife. He's drunk. He fell through the bushes to get home, and then he actually, instead of taping his face where he's all hurt, he tapes the mirror. And the wife wakes up and she sees all the tape and all that he's done, and she begins to yell and chase him around the house with a little stick. And I'm like, there's no need for that. I mean, just... But yeah, he goes and lays under the bed. And he's like, I'm the man of the house, and I'm deciding where to lay down. So people who want to be smart and strong, they will know that key to that means you're using a prefrontal and not copping out to any of these stories. But when you have people like this, they're actually to a T spot on to how the trauma therapists that have taught me, people are rejecting to go get themselves connected to their inner child because they don't want it, because the emotional plane is really, really scary. And we'll be back with more. In the meantime, being you is living the highest level of spirituality, knowing to help others and ask for help when you need it, and to have no expectations, because again, not everybody will move into being that best version of themselves. And for one reason or another, it's just no monster. None of us need to be judging them. We have laws, we go vote, and physical safety is a top priority. As for the rest, we're always going to hang out with more of the healthy self-worth ones, because the ones who are not managing with moderation things, we don't have lifestyle in common. And that's going to be clear, because I can't keep up, nor would I, with all those. At a certain point, we're just going to have a disconnected interaction. So it's more about that than anything. But we'll be back with more. Have a good one.